Tremendous atmosphere in here today. Huge shout out to all the fans, specifically the students that spent overnight camping out. A great college basketball atmosphere. I thought two really good teams that both did things well, both did things that we'll both have to get better at. But really, the effort and the grit and the defensive following the game plan for the most part, I thought was really good. Keeping them off the glass, which is hard to do. Some of it was, hit Zach. Some of it was us not doing our job blocking out. And those couple possessions, those can be big as you come down the stretch. And then obviously the offensive efficiency. I thought 3 for 19. I'll go through the quality of the shots, but I thought we took too many jump shots, didn't attack. We did at times, and we moved the needle. Got to the free throw line, we're playing in the paint, doing a lot of good things, and then we go away from it. And then we come back to it, and then we go away from it. And you have to be consistent in those regards. And constantly put pressure on the paint. When we did, I thought we had a lot of good things happen and made things happen. Took care of the ball pretty well. And so a lot of things we'll learn from this. And this, when you're playing at this level, you have to check every box. You can't check 3 of 5 or 5 of 7. You have to be elite in a lot of areas, and we weren't enough, and that's today, and that's credit to Purdue and how they played. They're a really good team. I think we got a really good team, and we got to get better. We got to get better in some of the simple things of efficiency, that offensively, decision making, shot selection, those things that can take us to another level. Questions?
Michael up front.
Purdue can really damage teams with the way that they shoot the 3. I guess with the way that you guys defended the 3, I mean, did you feel like
I thought we did a really good job. A really good job. I mean, the one we lost Jones once in transition in the second half. We were late on chasing the screen on him in the first half. He got one from the top of the key or the wing in front of our bench, or where the other one came from with their other 3. He got all 3 of them. Remember his third one, but I thought we did a good job of getting them off the line, and that's a precarious situation you're in because you're worried about the big fella inside too. And I thought we did a good job when we were post trapping. We got out of it quick. When we couldn't post trap based on the lineup they had on the floor, we were able to keep enough pressure on Zach and also guard the 3. And that's like I said, that's what makes them a really good team, is because they can hurt you in a lot of different ways. But pretty good job from 3-point standpoint.
If you hit a few of your own, though, I guess, is that the formula to beat this team? Kind of keep them from hurting from the outside of the inside.
I'm not going to give away every secret. They're really complete. They got a lot of pieces. We have a lot of pieces. But the difference maker obviously is Zach. I mean, that's just, you can't replicate or simulate that. And when they need a bucket, he hits a jump hook. When they need a bucket, he gets an offensive rebound. So it's but I thought Braden Smith did some good things for him, especially in the first half. We got a little soft on ball screens. He got comfortable coming off those. We got better at the end of the first half. But that's the challenge of playing a team so good. They got a lot of pieces, can hurt you in a lot of different ways.
Back here. NJ was the only one to attempt a free throw until like the final seconds on a shooting foul. Do you guys feel like you could have been more aggressive at attacking the rim, or is that just credit to Purdue for playing good defense without foul?
Both. I mean, but we have to be, regardless of our opponent, we have to do a better job of attacking and not settling for pull-up jump shots and early 3s, moving the ball more, getting more touches from the 5 guys on the floor, moving the defense, lifting it. Times we did it really well. We were able to hit pocket passes on rollers to the rim. Steve got one. Tyler got loose on some of those, but also at times I thought we got jump shot happy, and we've got it's great when they're going in, but it's fool's gold. It's not gonna last, and it's not gonna work over the long haul against a really good team. So yes, I think why we're not shooting enough free throws is because we're taking jump shots. You're not gonna get fouled on pull-up jump shots that are contested, and you're likely not gonna make a high enough percentage of them to make it worth it.
Greg, is it frustrating that you guys got 44 points in the paint, we're able to score inside on Edie for the most part, but the perimeter shots aren't falling, and then some of the questionable shot selection?
that's part of the perimeter shots not falling. I always evaluate quality. What type of three did you take? When did we take it? Was it contested? Did we move the ball? Had everybody touched it? There's times when you got to take the tough ones, but I'll look through the 67, it was 60 some possessions, 67 for us, and grade those out and see, a lot of good things, but you have to have all good things if you want to be, on the left-hand side of the score against a really, really good team.
Go Nick and then Jeff.
Greg, Matt talked about how, at times their defense helped off Tyler and he really made them pay. What kind of stood out, with an impact? Obviously scoring the ball game high 20, but also creating kind of from that mid-post with 5 assists.
Yeah, 5 assists. I mean, it's a credit to him because he's changed even through the course of this season, changed his game some where we're not, he's doing more punch driving, we're putting him with the ball in his hands more at the top of the key and going some dribble handoff ball screen stuff. So it puts him in a position where he's running at the rim and not having to constantly, arm wrestle his way with his back to the basket. And he does some of that, but I think he's minimized some of that. And obviously, he used his quickness and ambidexterity today against Zach to try to put him in, keep him guessing about where he was and where he moved real well without the ball, and he got on the glass with that 6 offensive rebounds. So he was active when shots were going up too, and he played his butt off.
Jeff.
Greg, you mentioned settling for jumpers and shot selection at Nebraska. You mentioned it again today. I'm sure it was discussed between games. When they're on the court, you generally have some veterans on the court. Is it just up to them, someone to say, hey, we are not moving the ball well enough, stop settling for jumpers, let's attack?
Yeah, I think they don't always see the numbers right away. I see numbers, if not every media timeout. So maybe they don't quite see what's transpiring. But yeah, it's discussed before games, in between games, during games. But it's, that's the growth that we got to continue to help guys take, is the understanding of how we continue to trend towards and grow towards playing winning basketball. And there's a difference between playing basketball and playing winning basketball. And we've got to continue to grow in those areas and help guys understand, like I said, there's a time and a place. But against the best of the best, you got to be disciplined in those areas and make sure as many possessions as possible are high quality.
In the back then, Jim, and then on the station.
Coach, after last game, you called on Stephen Crowell to be more aggressive. Today he had 6 shots, but when he's consistently getting double like the way Purdue played him today, how tough is it for not only for him but for the entire offense to kind of get going with the role that he has?
Yeah, I think I'd still, just looking back through the first half possessions, want him to be more aggressive. I thought there was times when he wasn't double teamed and I think he anticipated it coming and it didn't come. And it wasn't always just a straight double team. They were digging, they were squeezing, they were flooding towards him a little bit. So whether he felt uncomfortable with where he was or what he could do with it, but he needs to continue to be. I know his passing is a great skill, and I've said before he's at times too unselfish, and that's. But I trust the players they're the ones playing. I communicate what I see, what film tells me, and so yeah, we need him to be more aggressive, and but it's also a credit to Purdue and the teams that have played him. You got to take another step in our game, in his game, and collectively. Sometimes we leave him on an island. We don't cut well enough away from the ball. We don't put pressure on the back on the rim so they can kind of stand, and so it's a combination. It's a group effort to make that better. Jim.
I don't know if this team needed a wake-up call, but sometimes losing does that. It's a little easier to learn lessons after losses. Do you look at this week and say, hey, that maybe can happen and drive that point home?
Yeah, I think the losing a game always, it gets your attention more, but I don't think there's anything that we have seen transpire in the last 2 games that we hadn't talked about before, and it's masqueraded by winning. If you want to be at the highest level, you want to play championship basketball, you have to be on point, and you can't get away with. You can against some teams. You shot selection. You can get away with being loose with the ball. You can get away with not defensive rebounding well enough. And that's the challenge to this group is like, hey, now we know what we need to get better at, and we've taken a lot of steps, and we've gotten better. I want this thing to push it farther, push it more, and that's on all of us to help these guys get out of their comfort zone. The way you're going to get out of your comfort zone is you have to be held accountable. That if you want to play and do the things that we talk about, what we want to do here, you have to, it has to be really, and it's hard. It's hard. Winning at a high level is really hard, but the pain of regret is hard too. If you don't hold them accountable, if you don't keep pushing them out of their comfort zone, and sometimes losing or taking a bump gets you out of your comfort zone a little faster. You kind of cruise in it when you're winning, maybe the lessons aren't as hard or aren't as direct. But if you, like I said, these guys want to be a great team, we see where we're a little short. We gotta fill in those gaps and get better.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Regarding the last couple sequences down on the baseline there, from your perspective, what did you see? What were the guys telling you that they saw versus what was being called?
I'm not gonna really comment. I'll look through the film, and if there's anything that, was different, what was called, I have channels that I can communicate that with, but, those guys have a hard job. I mean, that was a physical, you got grown men beating the hell out of each other, and it's just a hard, fast, guys are bigger, faster, stronger. It's a hard game to officiate, and it's easy always to make the call when you can see a replay, or you think you see what you saw, but no, it's officiating isn't why we lose games. I'm not going to fall into that trap and blame them. Those three guys are really good officials, and I don't know if they missed somebody stepping in bounds or out of bounds, or there's enough other things that'll keep me up on this sheet other than whether a guy stepped in bounds or out of bounds enough tonight. So,
Mark, you had a question.
yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts. Second half, Steven got into a little foul trouble. You avoided that in the first half. What impact, if any, do you think, that, being in and out had?
Well, he's going to take a break anyway, because trying to move around 7'4", 300 plus takes a toll. I thought Nolan, other than he got caught once on a little fake cross screen and they threw the lob over the top of him in the second half. I thought Nolan battled. You look at Zach's an experienced, big post player. Nolan's a freshman that's going to get bigger. So that's a great experience for Nolan. And I never have to worry about the fight that Nolan brings and how he competes. But for Steve, we talked about trying to avoid those fouls or avoid the unnecessary ones. There's going to be some just because of the mosh pit that the lane and the post play presents itself. There's going to be some, and specifically with Zach, he puts you in a lot of tough positions. So I don't know if that. He still played 28 minutes, so I wouldn't anticipate even being not in foul trouble that number would change a whole lot.
Two more questions, and then we go in the back, and then we'll end with Michael.
Greg Tyler was saying that he feels like the team is right there, being neck to neck against one of the best teams in the country. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think we're one of the best teams in the country. I think there's parity across college basketball. I've seen a lot of them now and played against a lot of the non-conference ones. Matt has as well. I told him before the game, we were talking, you ever wonder what we talk about? I said, hey, neither one of us scheduled hard enough. It was tongue in cheek. Both of us overdid it, but I think that's what you want. You want to, play at a high level and compete with the best, with the goal that you want to be the best. You know, it's not just about playing with them. You wanna conquer them. And we've had some unbelievable battles over the, 20 plus years, and you go back to Katie and Dick, and it's been two programs that I think do it the right way. They both are blue collar, hard hat, lunch pail programs that get the most out of their players, play hard. Matt does a great job there. He does it the right way. He's a great mentor or a representative of our league on a national level, because he's on a lot of the national committees, and so it's a competition at its highest level is very rewarding. It can be very painful, as today is, but it's rewarding. And now we got to get better before we get to mid-March and see him again.
Michael, final question.
Greg, you kind of alluded to the fact that the shot selection isn't new. I mean, I guess, how do you teach players to notice that within the game flow before you get them in a timeout?
Well, you show film, and you show the time, score, how many did the ball touch multiple sides. Are we in a rhythm? Are we not in a rhythm? Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? I'll let a few heat check shots go when shots before that have gone down, but when we're heat checking and we haven't gotten any heat, then we can't heat check, so it's a growing process, but at the same time, I don't want guys to lose aggressiveness, so it's a fine, you balance that. I still want them attacking, I still want them looking to score, but how we're doing it has coming about it. And if you're on a roll, you got a heater going, I'll let a few fly. But when you don't, and we're not as a team on a roll, then we gotta dial that back and fine tune what our decisions are.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Good. All right.